Now supposing a manufacturer of a watch sold one watch for rupees 200 to the wholesaler, and the wholesaler sold the same watch to the retailer at rupees 300, and the retailer sold the same watch to the customer for rupees 400. Now in this rupees 200 which was charged by the manufacturer, it contains the profit as well as the GST. Same way over here, when the wholesaler sold the watch to the retailer, the 300 rupees contained the profit as well as the GST. Same way in retailer, when he sold it to the customer, the 400 rupees include the profit as well as the GST. Let us suppose at each stage the GST paid to the government was how much? 12% of the taxable value. Now 12% of 200 is how much? 12% of 200. So 0 will get cancelled. That's equal to 24. So the GST paid by the manufacturer is how much? Rupees 24, which he will get back the same rupees 24 which he paid to the government. He will get it back from the wholesaler. Now what is a wholesaler? He sold it to at rupees 300. So if I take 12% of 300, I'll get how much? 36 rupees. And this 36 GST paid, he will get it from the retailer. So this 36 rupees he will get it from the retailer. So wholesaler, the manufacturer gets rupees 24 he paid to the as GST from the wholesaler, and the wholesaler's GST is how much? Rupees 36, which he'll get it from the retailer, and this 24 is also included as well as the GST paid by the wholesaler. So what will be the tax invoice? Tax invoice बोले तो बिल, जब ये वो बिल होलसेलर को बताएगा तो होलसेलर मैन्युफैक्चरर बिल में क्या लिखेगा? प्राइस ऑफ वॉच विल बी हाउ मच? 200. CGST इज हाउ मच? 24 का आधा कितना? 12 rupees, and SGST is also equal to how much? 12 rupees. That is equal, total will be equal to how much? 224. So this is a tax invoice the manufacturer will show to the wholesaler. Now the wholesaler sold the watch at rupees how much? 300. The GST which he got is how much from the retailer? From the retailer he got rupees 36. So half of 36 is how much? 18 over here. He sold the watch for 300, so 18 plus 18, 336. So in the bill, a tax invoice, GST tax invoice in the bill, that is in the tax invoice to the retailer will be how much? 336. Out of this 36 rupees, 300 में से जो 36 rupees उसको मिला था उसमें से 24 was already paid. 24 was already paid by the manufacturer, so minus 24, so he has to pay only 12 rupees. तो wholesaler को GST कितना भरना है? 12 रुपया. ये 36 रुपीस में से 24 मैन्युफैक्चरर ने पे कर दिया, बाकी का 12 रुपया होलसेलर को भरना है. उसी तरह जब भी मैं 400 रिटेलर जब भी कस्टमर को सेल करेगा तो कितना चार्ज कर रहा है? 400 रुपीज़. तो अगर मैंने 400 लिया तो इसका GST कितना आया? 48. तो ये 48 उसको कस्टमर से ही मिल जाएगा रुपीज़ 48. तो टैक्स इनवॉइस में वो कितना बताएगा? प्राइस ऑफ वॉच इज हाउ मच? 400. 48 का आधा कितना है? 24. और SGST का आधा कितना? 400 का 48 का आधा कितना है? 24. तो CGST हो गया 24, SGST हो गया 24. तो बिल में कितना बताएगा? 448 rupees. So the tax invoice which the retailer will prepare to show it to the customer will be how much? 448. The 48 rupees which the GST has to pay, he will get it from the customer. But out of this 48 rupees, 36 is already paid. So 48 minus 36, that is equal to how much? 12 rupees. So it is equal to how much? 12 rupees. So total GST paid to the government is how much? 24 plus 12 plus 12, that's equal to 48. So total GST paid will be how much? Rupees 48. Out of this 48, 24 will go to the CGST and 24 will go to the SGST. Now this manufacturer, wholesaler and the retailer will be having GSTIN. They are all GSTIN holder. So they have a registration as GSTIN holder. So this, when they deal with this, what it is known as business to business. So when a manufacturer deals with another wholesaler, it is known as B2B. When the wholesaler deals with the retailer, that is also, even the retailer will be having GSTIN holder. So when a wholesaler deals with the retailer, that is also known as business to business. But when the retailer deals with the customer, when he sells a watch to the customer is not having a GSTIN holder. He is not a GSTIN holder. So it will be known as what? Business to customer. Now supposing a manufacturer produces some product, he sells that product to the wholesaler. The wholesaler sells the same product to the retailer, and the retailer sells the same product to the customer. Over here, the manufacturer, the wholesaler, the retailer are all three GSTIN holder. Why? Because manufacturer is selling something to the wholesaler is also selling the same thing to the retailer, and the retailer is also selling to the same thing to the customer. But the customer is not selling to any other person. He uses that product for his own use. That is, for customer does not have is not a GSTIN holder. So when one businessman deals with another businessman, it is known as business to business, that is B2B. When the wholesaler, the wholesaler is a businessman, when he deals with a retailer, that is known as B2B, that is one businessman is dealing with the other businessman. But when the retailer sells a product to the customer, he is a businessman but the customer is not a businessman. So this is known as B2C, that means business to consumer. I had told customer previously, it is not customer, consumer. Now what is input tax credit? So the trader has to pay, GST at the time of purchase. This is known as input tax. जब भी ट्रेडर कुछ खरीदता है बेचने के लिए, तो खरीदते वक्त उसको जीएसटी भरना पड़ता है. इसको बोलते हैं इनपुट टैक्स. ही कलेक्ट्स दिस टैक्स. He collects the GST at the time of sale. This is known as output tax. यानी जो भी उसने जीएसटी पे किया था परचेज करते वक्त, वो बेचते वक्त वो जीएसटी वापस ले लेता है, उसको बोलता है आउटपुट टैक्स. लेकिन वो जिसको बेचता है उसको भी टैक्स जीएसटी भरना पड़ता है. तो वो जीएसटी, बाकी का जो जीएसटी है जो नेक्स्ट कस्टमर बाय करेगा, वो जीएसटी उसको गवर्नमेंट को पे करना पड़ता है. दैट इज नोन एज जीएसटी पेएबल. सो जीएसटी पेएबल इज हाउ मच? सो हाउ मच विल पे टू द गवर्नमेंट? The output tax minus input tax. So after subtracting from the output tax the input tax, whatever is remaining, that he will pay it to the government. This deduction of input tax is known as input tax credit. Input tax credit. Now example 4, which is given on page number 92, and activity based sum is there. You just try to do that sum, so you'll understand much better this exercise. Now they have said, suppose a manufacturer sold a cycle for a taxable value of rupees 4,000 to the wholesaler. The wholesaler sold it to the retailer for 4,000. So the manufacturer sold the cycle to the wholesaler at rupees 4,000, and the wholesaler sold the cycle to the retailer at rupees 4,800, and the retailer sold it to the customer at what rate he sold? At rupees 5,200. Rate of GST is 12%. At each step, the rate of GST is everywhere 12%. Complete the following activity to find the payable CGST, SGST at each stage of trading. Now, output tax of the manufacturer is equal to how much? 12% of 4,000. That is 4,000 into 12 upon 100. So that is equal to how much? If I take 4,000 into 12 upon 100, 0 and 0 will get cancelled. 12 fours is how much? 48. So 480. So here what will come? Rupees 480. Now the output tax of the wholesaler. So GST payable by the manufacturer is how much? Rupees 480. The output tax of the wholesaler is how much? 12% of 4,800. If you find out 12 upon 100 into 4,800, you will get 576. So GST payable by the wholesaler is how much? Output tax minus input tax. Now what is output tax? 576. And what is the input tax? That is rupees 480. When you subtract this, you will get rupees 96. So this is the GST payable by the wholesaler. Now output tax of the retailer. Retailer is how much? 12% of 5,200. So when you divide 12 upon 100 into 5,200, you will get 624. 624. So the GST payable by the by the retailer is how much? Output tax of the retailer and the input tax of the retailer. That is 624 minus 576. That is equal to how much? 48. So that's equal to rupees 48. Now complete this table. So what is the GST payable by the manufacturer? GST payable by the manufacturer is how much? Rupees 480. What is the GST payable by wholesaler? The GST payable by wholesaler is equal to how much? 96. And the GST payable by the retailer is how much? 48. So this is the retailer and this is the wholesaler. So rupees 48. When you take the total, what you get? $624. So total is how much? 624. So the manufacturer paid CGST how much? Half of this. Half of this is how much? Rupees 240. And SGST will also remain rupees 240. Same way the wholesaler paid CGST and SGST how much? Half of this. Half of this is how much? Rupees 48, and here also it will be rupees 48. Next, what is the retailer paid how much to the CGST and SGST? Half of 48 is how much? Rupees 24. Now if you find out the total of this, you will get half of this only. So it will be how much? Rupees 312. Here also it will be how much? Rupees 312.